Hey everybody, welcome back. This is a continuation of looking at algebra, mostly building on the stuff that you would have done in year 7. Specifically, we're looking at solving equations with one variable. This is not an introduction from scratch, so you should know the basics of how to solve equations. We're going to get started with a key idea, and that is the fact that all equations will have an equal sign, and then it will have a left-hand side and a right-hand side of the equal sign. So when I refer to the right-hand side and the left-hand side, I'm actually referring to of the equals, and that's going to be the reference point. So for example, another type of equation might be 5 plus x equals 7. Now what I do to this side, the left-hand side, if I take away 5 there, I'm going to have to do that to the other side as well in order to keep it balanced. So I can see I've made a 0 pair there. So that becomes 0, and then the x comes down. The equal sign always comes down, and then 7 take away 5 is 2. So obviously we knew x was 2 there. Just an example with the language. Right, so see if you can spot the mistake with these 4 questions, if there are any. Pause the video. Okay, so going through these one by one, these would all be called one-step equations because you can solve them in one step. So for question 1, here we can see we have taken away 4 from both sides. So this is correct. There's no mistakes with this one. This equation here, question 2, if we're taking away 7 from both sides, now negative 7 minus 7 is not 0. It's actually negative 14. So this doesn't work. You're allowed to take away 7 from both sides, but it's not going to be helpful for us to do that. So mathematically, this is possible, but not helpful. So what we should have done is we should have added 7 to both sides, because that would have been a 0 pair, and then 18 plus 7 is going to give you 25. So this should be x equals 25. Okay, next question. 6x equals 12. Now remember, we're undoing the operation. We're doing the inverse operation. 6x is 6 times x. So the inverse would be dividing. So this should be divide, not subtract. So divide by 6, divide by 6. Now the other way to write this, which we're going to see in this video, is if you're dividing both sides of an equation, generally you can just write it like this, all over 6, all over 6. So that gives you x is equal to 12 over 6, which is 2. So that would have been the correct answer. So that doesn't, so the question 2 and 3 are wrong. Question 4, x divided by 16 is equal to 4. So you might divide by 6 or 16. Those are all wrong. We want to remove this 16. So the opposite of dividing by 16 is to multiply by 16. So this should be times 16 times 16. So x is equal to 4 times 16. So the other way to write that is like this, x over 16 equals 4, and then you're going to use brackets. So we're going to multiply all of that side by 16. We're going to multiply all of that side by 16. So that gives you x equals 64. Again, we'll look at that notation later in the video. Let's do some practice questions. Pause the video for each of these. There's a whole bunch of questions which you're meant to pause to complete. Try this, and then I'm going to show you the answer. Okay, so in this case, we want to isolate b because we're working out to solve b. So in order to do that, we're going to do a 0 pair with 6. We're going to take away 6, and then we're going to do the same on the right-hand side. 6 take away 6 is 0. We don't need to write the 0 underneath that. The b comes down, the equal sign always comes down, and then 20 minus 6 is 14. This is your working out. This is your answer. Make sure you show your working out for all questions. Here's another question for you to look at. We've got 6 plus 2c equals 20, and I've got the order of operations on the right hand side, just so you're aware of how we can inverse these. Okay, so what we want to do here is we want to isolate c. So I'm going to get rid of the 6 first. I'm going to take away 6 from both sides. That's going to be a 0 pair, so 2c is equal to 14. And then I'm going to divide by 2, divide by 2. Now, some of you write this instead on the side. It's better to write it as a fraction like how I've done it. So that method is what we're going to stick to. So this will be c is equal to 14 over 2, which is 7. So you can see, take away 6, divide by 2, you get 7. Okay, now in this question we're going to create an equation and then solve it. So we're thinking of what a number is. We don't know what that number is, so we're just going to call it x. We subtract 7 and the answer is 5. What is the number? So I know you can do this in your head for sure, but we're going to show you how to show the working out here. So I start with x, I take away 7 and I get 5. This is our equation here. In order to solve it, I'm going to add 7 to both sides because I want this to be a 0 pair. And then I have to do the same thing on the right hand side to keep it balanced. So x equals 5 plus 7. So that's going to give you 12. Okay, next question. Show your working out to solve this equation. Pause the video, have a go. Okay, so I'm going to show you how to do this now. So we are going to isolate y. So I need to get rid of the 6, I need to get rid of the 3. So the inverse of take away 6 is to add 6. And I'm going to do that on both sides. So 3y equals 18 plus 6. So that's going to be 24. And then I'm going to divide by 3. So y is equal to 24 over 3, which is 8. That's your answer. So you've got 2 steps and then your answer. Pause the video and have a go with this. Okay, so this question is slightly different because we've got brackets, so we need to make sure there's 2 ways to actually do this. So I'm going to show you method 1, which is to expand, then solve. And method 2, which is to divide, then solve. So the first method, let's expand the brackets out. So we'll write the question out in full. 5 brackets t plus 3 equals 65. So expand the brackets out, so you're going to get 5t, we're using the distributive law, plus 5 times 3 is 15, and that's going to equal 65. Now I'm going to do 65 take away 15, so I'm going to write that here because I'm going to get a 0 pair with the 15, and then I'm going to take away 15 on this side. This becomes 5t equals 65 take away 15 is 50. And now I'm going to inverse of 5 times t is to divide by 5. So we're going to divide by 5, divide by 5, t is equal to 10. Okay, the other method, second method, is to do the division first. So we write the same equation out, 5 brackets t plus 3. Remember, this is just multiplying 2 things together. You're multiplying the bracket by 5. So the inverse of multiplying the bracket by 5 is to divide the whole thing by 5. So divide by 5, divide by 5. So this becomes t plus 3 equals 65 divided by 5 is 13. And then I'm going to do, I want to isolate t, so I'm going to take away 3 from both sides. So t equals 10. So you get the same answer. Both methods are equally valid. In some cases, this number here doesn't go nicely into that number. So in that case, doing method 2 might leave you with a funny fraction. Now 5 goes into 65, so we ended up with a nice whole number. If, for example, it was instead 7 brackets t plus 3 equals 65, then dividing by 7 is not going to leave you with a nice fraction. So you can do it that way, but it's not the best way to do it. So instead, the first method works. So it's up to you to just pick which method feels a bit easier. Okay, here's a question for you to practice. Pause the video and have a go. Okay, I'm going to show you the answer now. So we can decide what to do. We can expand the bracket or we can divide by 6 first. I'm going to decide, for no special reason, I'm just going to divide by 6 first, because 6 goes into 42. So divide by 6, divide by 6. So I can say 4 plus f is equal to 7. And then I want to isolate f, so I'm going to take away 4, take away 4. So I now have f equals 7 take away 4, which is 3. And we can test the answer out by putting 3 back in here. So 6 times 4 plus 3, which is 6 times 7, does give you 42. Okay, question for you to try out here. Either way. Okay, I'm going to show you the answer. Pause the video if you need longer. This time I'm going to expand the bracket just because I divided it by in the last question. So let's expand this out. So 3 times 4r is 12r. 3 times 2 is 6. You get 30. And then I am going to take away 6. Take away 6. And that's going to give me 12r equals 30 minus 6 is 24. So that's a 0 pair, so that cancels out. And then I'm going to isolate the r by dividing by 12. Dividing by 12. So r is equal to 24 divided by 12, which is 2. Okay, so this is the first way to solve this equation. Have a go to see if you can do this in another way, perhaps by dividing by 3 first, and then I'm going to show you how to do that. All right, so if we wanted to divide by 3 first, this would have been the method. So we can see we are going to get divide by 3, divide by 3. So that's 4r plus 2 equals 10. I'm then going to take away 2 from both sides. So 4r equals 8. And then I'm going to divide by 4 both sides. So r is equal to 8 divided by 4, which is 2. So both methods work fine.